What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports. Smitty here. And today we have a new report that Jonathan Kuminga is seeking the full maximum contract extension from the Golden State Warriors. We're going to dive into the comments that we've heard from an NBA insider on Jonathan Kuminga's extension rumors. As well, on the back end, we're going to talk about some news that came out about the Golden State Warriors schedule coming in. But this is a mainly Jonathan Kuminga video. I want to hear from you guys real quick. If you want Jonathan Kuminga in Golden State long term, listen, Golden State's held him out of trade talks for guys like Lauri Markkanen in the past, and the comments section has said, hey, we don't want to trade Kuminga. So let me know down in the comments. Make it known, not down in the comments, by liking today's video. Today's goal, we got if we can get 400 likes, that's going to tell me that you Golden State Warriors fans really want Jonathan Kuminga to stay here long term. So go on ahead and hit that like button, and we'll get started with today's show. So here's the comments coming in from Jake Fischer at Yahoo Sports. He says, Jonathan Kuminga is entering the final year of his rookie deal when the word around the league from various sources is that Kuminga and his representation are looking for a full max extension, which, as we just talked about with Brandon Ingram and Jamal Murray and whoever, like if you're not an absolute all-star, Scottie Barnes type of guy for Toronto, Lauri Markkanen for Utah, Trae Young for Atlanta back in the day, because look at what happened to Trae Young in Atlanta since then. It's really hard to get that number. So the number that Jonathan Kuminga is eligible for is 5 years, $224 million. That's a lot of cheddar for a guy who we're still expecting to have a breakout season here. Obviously, the last 44 games of last year, after he had that meeting with Steve Kerr, we saw an increase in volume, an increase in efficiency, and an increase in overall production from Jonathan Kuminga. But we're still looking for him to take that next step that makes him worth $224 million, because a couple of guys in that draft class of Jonathan Kuminga have just signed recent max extensions here. Scottie Barnes, like Jake Fischer mentioned, he got 5 years, $224. Cade Cunningham got 5 years, $224. Evan Mobley the same, and so did Franz Wagner this offseason. And these guys are all ascending young talents, right? Scottie Barnes has been an all-star. He was already the most improved player, I believe. And Cade Cunningham has shown a ton of flashes if he's being able to stay healthy. That Detroit situation is just so tragic for him. The surrounding talent around Cade Cunningham up there just really limits his game from taking it to the ultimate next level. But we've seen flashes from Cade Cunningham that he could be a franchise player. Evan Mobley is looking like that real third star next to Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland there in Cleveland. He had some really nice moments against teams like Boston in the playoffs this season. And then Franz Wagner kind of was the second option on an Orlando Magic team that ended up with the 5th seed in the NBA playoffs in the Eastern Conference this season. And a note for each of these contracts, which is probably applicable to Jonathan Kuminga as well, each of them can reach $270 million if they do receive an All-NBA selection. Now, in Scottie Barnes' case, if he receives a Defensive Player of the Year award in the following season after agreeing to the contract extension, that also puts it at $270 million. I'm not sure if the same applies for the other three guys, but I'd imagine it might. I just don't expect a guy like Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, or Franz Wagner to get that honor. But if they make All-NBA, that number jumps up about $50 million. So a huge figure going to these young players. But overall, from my view, like Fischer said, it's really hard to get to that number when you're not already established as this all-star level player, somebody who we can pencil you in to be that second star next to Steph Curry, or pencil you in for an all-star selection come February. Jonathan Kuminga just hasn't proven that yet. We've seen, a lack of a jump shot, a lack of a high volume, high efficiency jump shot, because he has shown flashes from the corners, from the wing. He's fine on the catch and shoot, but he hasn't really been able to develop that shot creation ability yet off the dribble. Yeah, off the dribble, he's great going downhill, attacking the rim. And if you look at what he's done over the last couple of seasons throughout his short NBA career thus far, he's been a super efficient player as far as field goal percentage goes, because he attacks the rim at such a high volume and such high efficiency. 52% from the field last year, 52 the year before that, and 51 his rookie season. So a guy who's been incredibly efficient, mostly scoring his buckets around the rim through the first couple years of his career, really needs to develop that shot creation ability for me to feel comfortable giving him that $224 million extension. But, a big-time jump from 22-23 to 23-24, jumping up basically 6 points in your point-per-game average. And if you think about those last 44 games after meeting with Steve Kerr, Jonathan Kuminga was almost at 19 points a game. So if you get another jump up to about 20 points, 22 points a game this year with the increased role, with the increased trust, hopefully, from Steve Kerr after a work-filled offseason, I'm expecting a big jump for Jonathan Kuminga that hopefully makes him worth a contract this big. But here's the issue, right? I understand, like, especially in Cade Cunningham's case, you haven't seen him super healthy enough, so you are taking a big risk there on him. This is Franz Wagner, hasn't really developed a crazy consistent high-volume jumper either, and Jonathan Kuminga is the same way. These guys are still fairly raw, and sometimes you have to pay what you hope a player is going to become in this day and age with the way that these big-time rookie scale extensions are panning out, because I mean, none of those guys that even got the extension yet, maybe the closest guy is Scottie Barnes, but none of those guys are finished products. And Jonathan Kuminga is obviously not even close to a finished product. But I don't know if Golden State can offer that $224 million right now, because we don't know if he's going to take that next step. I think the other four have clearly asserted themselves as guys who those franchises believe they can build themselves around. Jonathan Kuminga, there's still a chance that he doesn't turn out. But for a guy who closely resembles the numbers of the man who just won Finals MVP, Jaylen Brown, in his third year, albeit Jaylen Brown had a lot more talent around him in year 3 in Boston. Obviously, Kyrie Irving was still in town. Gordon Hayward was coming off of an injury and getting paid big money, so he had to receive a huge role in that offense. And Jaylen Brown's numbers kind of suffered a little bit of that because of that. Kind of dipped, actually, after his year 2 numbers. But, I mean, Jonathan Kuminga's numbers were better in year 3 than Jaylen Brown's. Obviously, both players still struggled to shoot from three-point range, and neither was necessarily high volume. But, obviously, you look at Jonathan Kuminga and Jaylen Brown here, fairly similar players. But Jaylen Brown did have that shot creation ability much earlier than Jonathan Kuminga did in his career so far. I still think that there's a trajectory for Jonathan Kuminga to take that puts him in the echelon that Jaylen Brown is in at this point, as a big wing defender who can guard multiple spots, create highlight level plays, and be a really physical player on the wing for Golden State. So I believe that Jonathan Kuminga can reach those heights, but I'm not sure that I would offer him the $224 million as of right now. Jaylen Brown didn't get the a crazy max extension, actually. I think he got about $115 in his original deal that he signed after his rookie scale extension. Jonathan Kuminga, on the other hand, I'm not sure I would offer him that. So my contract projection as of today would be 5 years, $175 million. So that saves you $50 million on the total length of the contract, as well as probably doesn't give you that incentive to make All-NBA that super maxes it out to 270. I'm saving Golden State a lot of money here, and I'm still paying Jonathan Kuminga pretty handsomely at $35 million a year. Maybe he doesn't take this. Maybe he scoffs at this and says, I'm going to go get that money elsewhere in free agency. Jonathan Kuminga is going to hit restricted free agency, so Golden State can match anything that he's offered this offseason. Also, there's a chance that Golden State doesn't want to match what he's offered this offseason. There's a chance that the market says that Jonathan Kuminga is deserving of $224 million, especially after this season. But Golden State could say, hey, we don't want to pay you that much. We don't want to go into the tax for you, Jonathan Kuminga, because we don't believe that you're worth that money. But here's $175 million. Take it or leave it. That's the decision that Golden State has to make in the near future here, because I would offer him this right now so we don't get to that point in restricted free agency next year. But with Golden State probably not wanting to pay that $224 million right now, could his demands spark trade rumors? I saw a couple of articles online that said that these demands could potentially open up the door for Golden State to be open to trading Jonathan Kuminga this season. I'm not so sure that's the case. They've been pretty stark in their stance that Jonathan Kuminga is a part of their future. He's a non-starter in trade talks, and he's virtually untouchable on this Golden State Warriors roster. So it doesn't look like they want to trade him, but it doesn't look like they want to pay him $224 million either. We're going to pay close attention to how this situation gets resolved here in the near future. But I want to hear from you. What offer would you give Jonathan Kuminga on this new contract? Was it more than $175 million? Are you giving him the full max? Are you kind of somewhere in between my offer and the max? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear from you guys on what you think of Jonathan Kuminga and what he should deserve on his new contract. Next, we got some news on when Klay Thompson will be returning to the Chase Center and facing off against his old teammates Steph, Draymond, the whole crew, and the Golden State Warriors. We're going to have some news on that after this quick break. But before we do, got to get you guys dripped out. Steph Curry, Team USA, they just won gold, baby, beating France. Some of the biggest shots of Steph Curry's career. I mean, that double-teamed fadeaway, fall-away three when Kevin Durant and LeBron James are wide open on the wing. The only player that could take that is Steph Curry, and the only Team USA Olympic shirt to get after winning gold is this one right here. And you go to chatsports.com/Team USA to get yours today. It's got the caricatures of every player. It's kind of like a retro look. I'm liking this shirt a lot. Probably going to get one myself. Got the Nike up top as well. So go on ahead and hit that link, chatsports.com/Team USA. I put that in the comments and description of today's video to make it easier for you guys. Go get this fresh-ass shirt right now. All right, so Klay's return to Golden State has been revealed, and it's pretty early in the 2024-25 season. You see here, Tuesday, November 12th, Klay returns to the Chase Center to match up against the Golden State Warriors. Shams Charania was kind of firing off all these NBA schedule alerts all morning long, and he says Klay Thompson's first return trip to the Bay Area, November 12th. National TV as well on TNT when the Mavs play the Warriors at the Chase Center, per sources. And then kind of how the Lauri Markkanen news kind of came out with Anthony Slater here going for a putback slam, saying the NBA lined it up on the first game of the in-season tournament for both the Warriors and the Mavericks. So a little bit of more juice on this game for Golden State and the Mavs to kind of play for here. And I'm interested to see how Golden State fans will react to Klay Thompson. I'm very much assuming that Klay Thompson, and not even assuming, I can stamp it in for a fact that Klay Thompson's getting a tribute video, probably the biggest one that Golden State will ever put on, barring a Steph Curry departure from Golden State, which we hope does not happen. But Klay Thompson's going to get one heck of a tribute video, and I'm sure the fans at the Chase Center are going to be very receptive, very loving. I mean, holding up those fours for Klay's 4 rings all night long. I think that's going to be how the Chase Center reacts. But, hey, there could be some boos. I mean, Klay's attitude wasn't the best in his lead up to departing from Golden State. So you never know. There could be some ill will. There could be some ill will towards Klay from the fans at the Chase Center. But I think the cheers and the love is easily going to drown out any of those calls from the fan section there. And during this game, as far as like what we're going to see from Klay, I expect a big game. I mean, coming back to Golden State, it's kind of lighting a fire under him to prove to that organization that he is still a top-level player in this league. And when the lights get bright, Klay Thompson shines the brightest. I know he didn't shine the brightest in Golden State's play-in game against Sacramento. Whatever. But yeah, you guys remember Game 6 Klay. I think Klay's going to have a big game in this night, and hopefully the Warriors have enough shooting to kind of offset that, because this could be a big-time shooting night from Klay Thompson as he returns to Golden State, kind of to exercise those demons a little bit from last season. So watch out for Klay Thompson on November 12th, because that'll probably, especially if he's like kind of starting slow in the beginning of the season, comes back to Golden State there and kind of rewrites his path there in the 2024 season. So let me know down in the comments, how will the Chase Center crowd act towards Klay Thompson? Will there be boos? Will there be any boos? I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think anybody in the crowd is going to be booing Klay Thompson when he returns to Golden State? I think there will be maybe a few, but we won't hear them. It's going to be a loud, resounding cheer and applause and thankfulness for Klay Thompson when his name is called and when that video is played. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think the reaction will be. And that'll do it for today's video. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be keeping tabs on this Jonathan Kuminga contract news cycle as the comments keep flowing out. Anytime there's a report about Jonathan Kuminga's contract or an extension for him, or even Moses Moody, who's due up for a deal as well, you're going to find it right here at the channel, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. All you got to do is subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in for any content that we post right here at the channel. See you later. Go Dubs.